Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for today's video. I wanted to talk to you about narcissistic programming, so let's jump in. So when you grew up in a family household of a narcissist, in a narcissistic hierarchy, it's like a cult. And there's certain things that are perpetuated from the narcissist hierarchy that get programmed into the children. Now, there's the black sheep, which is us, and then there's the narcissist. Of course, we're the black sheep, so I want to talk on that aspect. So in the narcissist hierarchy, there's certain things that are programmed, and it causes a lot of suffering and grief to the individual, the scapegoat, or it perpetuates it. So it perpetuates it and it creates a lot of suffering. And it can take a lot of healing that needs to take place. A lot of the programming is because they're selfish and they need supply. Because they're so selfish, they only think about themselves. And they need all this validation, people pleasing and pampering. They need it to be adorned and admired. And then they cause the fawning, the rage episodes, the hate and the anger and the jealousy. The lying and the gaslighting, all of the manipulations that the narcissist does to you started when you were a child from one of your caregivers. And when you start to go down the road of getting used to those things, so the narcissist becomes the same, one and the same. And that's probably the worst thing you could do or be. But on our end, being the black sheep or the scapegoat, we learn to accept so much crap. And that's what we need to heal from and get past and beyond. When a narcissist meets you, they know that you are a special person. You are a shining star. You are somebody that has it all. But what the problem is you don't know that. They know it. And that's why they go to town abusing you, because they don't want you to know, and they don't want to lose you. And they want to gain or garner the supply that you give, that you put forth, because you're so heavy in your emotional field. They want to gain it for your whole life. That's why when they discard you, they're not leaving you. It's a hoax. They're really just taking a break, is what it is. Because they can't be in one relationship, because they're emotionally challenged, for one thing. But they have none of the fruits of the spirit, so they can't do anything good, and they can't do anything long-term that is good. Now, they could do evil long-term. They could do anything in the evil sector long-term, or they can perpetuate that. They can be consistent with that because that's where they are. That's where they reside. But when they come to you, they can only be inconsistent or consistently inconsistent because they're faking. Anything that's good that they're putting on, whether it be the love bomb, the putting you on a pedestal, or making you perfect, that's all temporary. And then the relationship status. They can't be in a relationship for very long because they have like this object constants. When you're out of their sight, you're out of their mind. They forget all about you. They forget they're in a relationship. They have black and white thinking, meaning they can only either look at you as an asset or the enemy. They can never go through a discussion or a situation or an argument and even walk away from the situation and know you're still on their side. You just had an argument, or you have some discrepancies, or you have some things to work out, but they automatically take it as a slight or a challenge, things that make them cause a breakup because they cannot be challenged. That false mask or their false self cannot be challenged. And what the narcissist hierarchy programs into the empath as a child is to make a narcissist comfortable. They want the narcissist to be comfortable, and that's part of the reason why they are drawn to you, because you have high emotional intellect, but until you wake up, you're not controlling it properly and not understanding it exactly the way you should and as precisely as you should. There's predators and people that prey on emotions, control with it, and lead to your demise if you're not careful. And as a child, you end up growing up with people that are narcissists or narcissistic because your caregiver family is that way, and they don't equip the child to go out and to get the quality people that they would want to get. So what they only get is people that are narcissistic or narcissists hanging out with them, because that's all that's left. They're like people that are thinking along the same lines. So you end up getting people like that as friends, but it's not your preferential choice. It's kind of like what you get left with. And for you to elevate, you have to get out of the house first and supply your own finances. Get away from people that are putting your family trying to put inferiority complexes on you, trying to downgrade all your visions and all of your accolades to make you feel less than. In the narcissist hierarchy, the hierarchy has always got to make you less than, and then when you get love partner later that's a narcissist, then they do the same thing. Because they're the same breed, they're from the same dysfunction. That's why they all end up doing the same things. It's because when they go through this transformation to the false self, false mask, and sacrifice their true self and lose all their goodness, you kind of get a similar character, but the character is based on the dark energy that is within them now. So the tracks that they run are two different things. It's because they don't have anything good in them. So what you're seeing is the tracks are related to somebody has no goodness. Because if you have goodness, you have the ability to ebb and flow in the side of bad or the side of good, and generally the side of good. Because of that, you end up having inferiority complexes. You end up hanging out with the wrong type of people, which are going to perpetuate what you're getting taught in the hierarchy of the narcissist family. The same stuff's going to be perpetuated with your friends and then a love partner. And you don't really get any growth that way. But there's nothing you can do. You're stuck until you're 18. You're stuck because the whole time they're trying to gain supply off you, and they keep you down by not supplying your financial needs, your needs to eat for food and stuff when you're outside of the house. They don't supply any kind of instruction that's good. So the instruction is always going to be bad, because it's just like when you would ask advice or try to get validation or anything. When you try to get any kind of validation or information or understanding from the narcissist, it's always going to be evil, against what you need to hear. It's going to be the opposite, and it's going to be a lie, and it's going to be false. You got to wait till you get out of the house before you can do anything. And then they try to build these inferiority complexes in you so they can make you codependent to them. So you can be supplied for them as a child and as you get older, with no boundaries controlling your life. Narcissists don't believe in boundaries. They don't give a damn about your boundaries. They have nothing but boundaries. They're all bound. They're bound up. But when you talk about us, they can come in your room when they want, search through your crap, and find out everything about you. Regardless, they're always snooping. There's no privacy. If you want privacy, you have to hide it. You have to lie about it. And so then that in itself perpetuates more bad, because then you may learn to be hidden, or to do things and keep them hidden. And that's not good either. These are all bad ways of living and bad ways of habit forming. But like I said, a lot of times you hate the narcissist ways because they suck. So you never innately liked the way they do business, ever. And you never like hanging out with them. You don't want nothing to do with them. But because you grow up in that family, you have to deal with that damn family until you can get out of there. But then by the time you get out of there, you may be dealing with codependency issues. You deal with inferiority complexes that they have drove into your head, into your heart. tell you how you can't do this and you can't do that, and you can't be like your brother or your sister because they're smarter than you, or they're better, or you're inept of doing anything. When it comes to even healthcare, they're not going to give you the quality of care that you need, but they'll take care of your siblings. And it's very unfair. It's to keep you down, to treat you like crap. They call us the family garbage bin because that's what you end up being. You're the one that gets all of the negative energy tossed on you unbeknownst to you. You just learn to accept it. And then when you go out into your relationship with people, you start accepting other people's energy that's not even yours as they project it onto you. These are things that cause issues in your life and sadness, a lot of sadness. They take you off, the rails of you having purpose and potential and having good quality of life. They perpetuate the inferiority complex. They perpetuate codependency. They perpetuate you absorbing other people's negative energy, and then when you get out there, you don't even know what energy is yours and what's not. You can't discuss anything because they don't want you to process anything, because that shows independence and authenticity and genuineness. They don't want you to question it because you're challenging the mask in the narcissist hierarchy. So they just tell you to shut up, ground you, whoop you, or lash out with rage, or they'll get you back later. Just like the narcissist in love partner is, they will feel that you challenge them, so you have to pay the penalty. There's always some sort of punishment because you slighted them somehow, some way, because they're so emotionally unregulated. And then you're always compensating for them, backing them up. And that's the thing with the family too. They'd be telling lies and lie by omission, and then you have to cover for them. At least you get to a point to where you're sick and tired of it. If you want to do anything they're going to disagree with because they're unhealthy individuals, then you have to lie. So you have to put on a mask too, and you hate it. You can't discuss anything that's outside of the herd mentality that this matrix believes, or they believe. And it's either you agree or you're going to get punished. So they train you up to do that in your love partner relationship later too. You're taught to just agree or shut up and go with it and back them up. And that's not right either. And then they're very judgmental, critical, and self-righteous towards you. You have to deal with that too, and that's horrible. And it's always against you. It's always somehow, because you can't defend that situation either. There's nothing you could do. So you're just stuck wandering and wondering. And there's no intimate level of care, of love. There's no intimate thoughts given. There's nothing vulnerable as far as thoughts and understanding. It's all surface bull. And then they do this thing where it's like, don't ask, don't tell, I call it, because it's like, if it's happening and you don't get caught, or they don't get caught, then it's not happening. And we're not going to pay attention to it, and we're not going to look into the matter. So we're just going to play stupid. And then we can be innocent. And a spiritual narcissist will be like this. You can lie by omission, and then they feel like they can't get judged for sin by God. So they can't reap a negative harvest if they lie by omission. Because if they lie by omission, they believe they're not lying. And they believe that God's not smart enough to know. That's how a spiritual narcissist acts and operates. They believe if they want to tell you something to do, they're going to tell you God told them that. They'll tell you they prayed all night. While you were doing something, they were on their knees praying all night for hours, which is BS. They'll misuse scripture and explain it out in their own fundamental fantasy thinking. I hate loud cars. They just get these ideas in their head, and all of a sudden they're like fact. They just want you to go with it or believe it. So they want you to people please. They want you to accept all their negative energy and pamper them and adorn and admire them. They want to treat you with crap when it comes to supplying your needs as a child, financially, clothing-wise, school, anything. They don't invest in any sort of help in you gaining any kind of independence. They want you codependent. They want to demoralize you and give you an inferiority complex and beat you down and keep you in anxiety or paranoia, to not get you to know yourself authentically and genuinely, and not to process your thoughts. Or if you have any question about the way they think, you cannot argue your point in a wholesome adult kind of way. And like I said, they act self-righteous. They have opinions about things, and their herd mentality. So they get you to have to hide. They play the don't ask, don't tell. They don't give you any kind of privacy. You're like an open book regardless. So a lot of times you're also taught you're pouring your heart out, or you have to over-explain when it comes to the narcissist, or get validation from them. Then they want to use you as supply as a caregiver later to them. They want you around the house all the time. And they're always putting you to work to do their work because they're lazy. And they're always trying to keep an eye on you. It's all control, power and control. And if they don't like somebody, it's because they're good in your life. So they're going to either gaslight you or tell you that you can't hang out with them, that they're a bad influence, or they're going to gaslight you and tell you lying stories about how they did something that they didn't do at all, just boldface. And this is how they call it the karmic law, or they believe in this karmic law, to where they can tell you a lie by omission and feel that God can't judge them for that. And then they tell you the truth in a lie. So you're getting all the information all twisted up, or at least, some of it. Then if they tell you the truth in weird ways, and then you continue to stay with them, like say in a love partner situation, you end up reaping the negative harvest of them in a lot of ways, because they kind of told you the truth, but it's a little bit unbeknownst to you, the way it's been told. The narcissist tells the truth like a demon would. They tell it in a joking, funny way, a mockery, or with comedy, in ways like that. Or you hear truth from the Matrix, or from the world system, from a crazy person. They'll have a crazy person tell you the truth, and you're like, that guy's crazy. I'm not going to believe that. And that's what they do. They have to tell the truth. So they tell it by a crazy person. They tell it in a mockery or a joke. Or they'll tell the truth the way it is, and then they'll show, and they won't agree with it. So they'll show examples of why it's not good to believe that way. It's going to be abuse. It's just abuse, y'all. Every style that they put on you as a child and stuff, anything they promote, they don't want you to have an eye for anything good. They don't want you to succeed. They downplay everything, any kind of accolades in your life, and then they make fun of you. And then you're also the joke. And then when you leave and you never come back, then you slighted them. Then they say you're doing bad things. They'll tell people anything. They'll talk about you like you're holding grudges, or you're doing drugs or something. Anything to devalue you because you're not being with them. And then they got to send flying monkeys, or your family's siblings. That's what the narcissist hierarchy do. They'll send your siblings out to go find you, find out what's wrong, and try to drive you back into the family. Or they'll try to control you with finances. They'll give you a loan you didn't ask for. And then when you slight them, or you're dating somebody that they don't want you to date, or whatever, anything to where you stand up for yourself, then all of a sudden that loan you have with them, it's all due now. They'll control you with Christmas gifts. It's like you don't want nothing from a narcissist. And if somebody passes away and they leave you any kind of things, they're going to make sure the things they give you are like cursed items. Like it could be some old carved statue that's got a bunch of curses on it or something. The stuff that I've received where I just threw it out because I know better. But they will teach you things, and they have a lot of ways about them. They hoard because they feel like they're cheap, but they always feel like they're going to be in some worldwide catastrophe or something. That's how they always think. They always think the worst. They never think the best. So they always live in fear. They're always watching the news. And they're always judging everybody, and they're always judging them wrong, and they're always believing the hype, and they're believing people that are corrupt and trying to make it seem like they're just. All these ways affect the scapegoat or the black sheep when they leave the family. And it causes a lot of sadness. It causes a lot of disarray for you to make it in life the way you would believe you should. They don't help you in school. They don't help you study when you're a child. There's no kind of teachings of how to do anything good. You'll leave the household, you won't even know how to wash your clothes the right way. And then you have to learn through folly. And that's why a lot of times the empath has to learn through folly, because they have to learn it all themselves after they get out of the house. And that's if they're lucky. And they guilt trip you. They guilt trip you and they make you feel bad that they had you, you owe them something. You always owe them something. And if they gave you anything, you owe them your life, man. They won't help you buy anything, that's good when you're getting, of age, and maybe you need help buying a car or something like that. They won't help you. And then they try to have you go to the same places they go, the same stores, the same church, the same dentist, the same everything. That way they can control you through some of the places that they frequent. When you're with them, they'll make scenes when you're a child to make you to make it look foolish. All these things are things to lower your self-esteem, your self-worth, to lower your independence and make you codependent, to give you a inferiority complex, and for you to always sacrifice yourself for the best of others, to not love yourself and to not think anything good of yourself, to live with the feelings of shame and having to hide to do anything good. Then you walk away from the family, and then you'll hear that you're holding a grudge, you're doing drugs, or you're not a family man. Yeah, you'll hear that one too. Because you don't see them on holidays and you don't do anything with them. It's like you wish you had family, but you don't, because they're terrible. They're terrible. They treated you like crap. You forgave them 1,000 times, just like you did. That's the other thing. You keep taking them back. And that's what you learn to do with the narcissist love partner.